Okay, I will try. It's very difficult because there is a lot has been said, and also concerning very different things. The first thing that I would like to give as a takeaway point is that, I mean, urbanization and this sustainability or unsustainability is not only a matter of instruments and of action of the public sector and attempt to steer it. Yeah, it depends very much on the drivers and how they manifest in various places. So people pressure, money pressure is what is driving urbanization. And we saw it with the economic crisis, how it slowed down the trend and so on. And we see that there are waves leading to more or less pressure towards urbanization, and it is there. So it depends mostly on that. Then there is the public action towards urbanization. And this is indeed a political decision. And it is what we were discussing in the chat and slightly in the comment. So there is a need of public will to address urbanization in a more sustainable way, to limit it, to address it in a specific place instead of another, to go towards more contained or dense cities or more polycentric model and so on. And these are political decisions. And by our survey of the intervention, I would say that this will toward more sustainable urbanization is actually there in Europe. We surveyed Europe, so this is what I can talk about. There are so many interventions that explicitly aims towards a more sustainable urbanization out there. We collected around 250, but then with David, we kept not we kept partly updating our database, but collecting articles and literatures, focusing on other interventions. And we are surprised every time to see, okay, oh, there is also that, there is also that. So there is somehow the political will towards more sustainable urbanization, as there is generally a political will towards a more sustainable model of development out there. So it's probably a spillover of that, a focus of that over land use and urbanization. This is this what how I perceive it. And this means that this political will that is up there and is growing has been generating a plethora of intervention. Yeah, a plethora of intervention in all the countries in Europe. Yeah, and they are of different types, of different kind, at different level, and so on. And this is, on the one hand, as I say, an evidence that there is this will there. On the other hand, is an evidence that each place needs its own specific tailored intervention or set of intervention. No one size fit all. Yeah, as Erblin was saying before, there is no one type of intervention that is good everywhere. So intervention can be transferred, they can be moved, but it's a dangerous, difficult process. Yeah, all the all the literature about policy transferability and policy mobility is warning us about that. It's telling us that you need first of all to generalize and abstract an intervention or some specific aspect of it, and then you need to filter it in the new context by taking into account the specificity of that context and how they compare vis-a-vis the specificity of the context where the intervention was found in the first place. Yeah, so it does not necessarily fit the new context and it needs to be adapted. You can take inspiration, but to emulate and copy exactly one thing in another place, it does not work. Another thing that we noticed is that no one intervention, no one type of instrument or intervention can make the difference alone. Yeah, you need to create synergies. You need to have packages of policies that are prepared and put in place within a coherent system of multi-level governance in which all the various actors and levels are rowing in the same direction. In order to avoid what someone was mentioning as trade-offs or negative effect of specific or unwanted effects and so on. So there is a need of careful planning, not only the intervention, but how do they combine with interventions put in place by other levels, other type of interventions. So you need a strategy, you need a financial program accompanying these strategies in order to make sure that there are finances to support the intervention that you have in mind. There is a need of regulations that somehow set legal boundaries against specific behavior or towards specific behavior, and so on and so forth. What else? I have a paper where I was writing down these points. So I want to see if I have something else. Oh, the scenario. I really like the work David and his team did with the scenario, and I think it is a great base. Yeah, it is a great base to support the taking of the political decision, because for the scenario you can really think about, okay, what these are the possible alternatives and the results that going in a specific direction will make happen on the ground. So they can help you seeing what you will have in 30 years. Of course, not precisely, but still it gives you an idea of what you can have in 30 years, and it makes you think if what of the various alternatives is what you really want. Then, once you have taken this decision, it is up to your dialogue as a politician with the people that are technically shaping the instruments that we call the planners in a broader sense, to figure out, okay, in order to reach that configuration, that is the one that I would like to have, what should we do? And here it is where you can borrow and take inspiration from other contexts that maybe have experienced similar choices before, have looked for several similar alternatives before, and have already tried to implement them on the ground. And I would say that's it. That's I think it's a lot already. It was difficult to sum up. I hope I managed to do it at least to an acceptable extent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Giancarlo.